I will ask you a few questions, so make sure for your own sake just to engage a little bit, because it's very important stuff that you get used to everything in terms of the interpretations, like how to read it properly. Again, it's all about the intentions and read price action the right way based on what they show you and what you learned in terms of what the world sees and how you should do the difference. And again, if you, for example, again, this ended the last week of the Wednesday of 13th of March. And again, for example, what's a surprise when they do something like a triple bottom in here, right? When they have like 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, right? And then they move away from that, making all these breakdowns of another triple, top high, pull back, again, fake the momentum high side, but then guess what? Drop out of literally heaven into hell. Again, where's here, and that's just a scenario, the liquidity for the whole world. Where what do they see? Again, is there any bias in there? Can there be any bias in there at all? Or are they literally all already induced to the low side, even by taking out the last low in here? Just by looking at the M5, by the way, right? You don't need higher time frames for that. You just literally can see what's going on, right? So if you just look at that, what kind of inducement type is that? Maybe it's just a quick question for all of you. Should be pretty easy. You can call it major or medium, right? So again, you can definitely call it medium. It's also an external one, very good. So it's an external one, and it's also, in this scenario, definitely can be qualified as a major one. But again, we can also run for medium, but definitely no minor one. Especially coming off this huge waterfall drop straight into hell, right? And then again, taking out also this perfect low in here, faking literally the breakout low after this huge momentum one. So, question, knowing this and having this, in what direction should we orientate after this overall? Again, if you want to make it even clearer, we can wait for a cleaner inducement as well, because maybe people be like, oh, equal lows. But now, boom, another continuation low, right? So that's perfect. That locks in our bias now, and I already see all of you guys have it right. And this locks in the bias for the rest of technically the whole week until where though? Until where could we aim? Right? If you just look at this price action here, like you will even zoom out on M15, for example. And where could we aim for? Oh yeah, you can even draw. It's completely fine if you want to, actually. Don't have a problem with that, right? Okay, so this is a good target, right, for minimum. Let me just make these lines a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's a little bit better, right? So the minimum target we could aim for is that. But what is, for example, in here? What can this lead into? Again, pretty obvious. What can this be? If it's so obvious, then it's probably what the most of the world do here. SMT, very good. You guys are definitely awake already. Right, so again, we have our liquidity target, we have a potential smart money trap, we have more liquidity targets above here with triple tops, again, 1, 2, 3, right? And then again, now looking over the bigger picture on the M15, where could we pull a point of interest after they would grab like major liquidity with the triple tops and stuff like that, looking at intraday price action at an inducement POI. Where would be an inducement POI in these areas? Is it like this one? Is it this one? Maybe this one? Or like, is it somewhere in here? Right? Very, very good. Okay, this one is a tricky one. Is this an inducement POI or no? If you look at intraday, where's my pen? Right, what is this? You already have your Asia range. You have your what in here, water surprise, your perfect medium inducement, your signature scenario, and what timing. You see the little box in London, right? Inducing low first to go higher. And then obviously this is the overall last inducement high to go what? First into mitigation, order flow, and then continues lower big time, right? So we have these huge imbalances. We have these liquidity zones with the triple tops in here. So just by knowing the bigger picture, we can for sure mark this overall zone already and be like, okay, we could have potentially room until all these maximum areas, right? So, okay, we know major or maybe medium inducement, but again, considering this huge drop in here, again, we could say major inducement low. We oriented for buys. We have a potential smart money trap. We have our first target. We have our overall liquidity target. And then we would have the next proper inducement point of interest with imbalances based on our perfect, first of all, signature scenario with Asia range inducing low into medium inducement, perfect low on timing, inducing high one last time to go lower, and first taps also into mitigation and then goes lower, 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 lower. Right, so perfect stuff. Is that clear so far? I hope it is, because it's very important that you understand that. That's how you can instantly read the whole direction for the whole week. And all you do is wait for what? Signature scenarios. Literally, that's the only thing you have to do. Right, so again, at this scenario, you should do nothing. You just wait. Right, so you can stay on M15 and you wait for what? Question in the chat. You wait for what? What's the next thing you look for? This beautiful thing. Okay, a relevant break of structure, you could. Not a wrong answer for sure. But again, what's better to look for? Asia range, as you want for intraday entry approach. If you wait for relevant break of structure, you already had it in here, right? So, but now the next thing lines up. It is obviously our beautiful Asia range forming. And now look at this though. Right, we have M15 and we have Asia range getting induced to the high side, pretty premature. And just one thing, because we have daylight savings right now, so the Asia range, if you have the time on German, as you should have, it's just 10 p.m. if you wanted, right? But again, it will be good next week. And then, of course, the timing will be back to normal as well, right? So for now, it's just 10 p.m. But again, we have auto-adjusted everything, so always go with the boxes. The boxes, they show you the right timing, so don't get too confused there. It's just the daylight saving times, as again, that in the Asian countries and in the US, they have daylight savings. We don't have it yet, and obviously everything will be adjusted very soon, but everything is right in terms of the boxes. Another good indication of if you're getting lost, again, Asia always starts with the day open. Right, again, day open can be identified with these gaps, for example. Again, 11 would be here-ish, right? Again, this was technically, again, when the time changed, right? But always go for the day open and then go for Asia in these areas, right? So if you're getting lost for some time, but again, if you have the indicator, everything is automatically adjusted for you anyways. So again, we had this major inducement low, relevant break of structure. Now we have Asia range getting induced high though. So should we be too fussed about it? Not really. What's the timing window we should wait for in the chat if we want to do anything in here anyways, right? Perfect, Yusuf. Right, so again, we wait for London. Let's make this a little bit thinner here. Right, so we wait for London if anything. Let's actually make it gapped. Dotted. Right, so again, because this is just in the wrong direction of the inducement, right? So again, we should not be too fussed about it. Someone drew it earlier though, pretty good. You have this, again, it's already this trend starting from the rest of the world. They're already getting all excited, right? So what do we want with this trend before though? What do they always do if they see a trend? Induce, very good. In what direction though should they induce the trend first? Okay, what does this already do? It just is a minor inducement of this little trend in here, right? Again, it's already inducing people in the other direction. So what's about to come? Right, okay, interesting. The kicking in, the faking, the relevant, or like in this case, fake break of structure to the low side. Again, just inducing the trend, but we wait for what? Until the world's getting confused. They will placing limits in here, thinking, okay, order flow, blah, blah, all that stuff. But again, it's the inducement low first to give the death blow. And then it doesn't matter, there's nothing to the left. We can look for a potential signature scenario. So again, what happens? What a surprise. The momentum kicks in. First, a fake break of structure, inducing the trend line low, just to go higher into our ideal scenarios with London, right? So again, what is about to happen and what can we expect? Question in the chat. Let me get my pen. Right, so again, we have our major inducement. This inducement in here is in the wrong direction. It's technically into the inducement of the major one. So we have a minor inducement, not even a medium one. And we don't get confused. It's just a minor inducement high, giving us a potential signature setup, but for the short side, right? Until when can we take it? It's as its counter trend. It's technically trading into the major inducement. So if we want to take a short, yes, intraday we can do that, but on the overall picture, be very careful. You're trading straight into this major inducement and actually want to trade long. But again, as we now have the overall perfect cycle for the long side, inducing high, inducing first low to go higher, and then the whole day, so just inducing high, buys. The whole world is seeing the longs, right? So of course, we can look for the shorts, right? So how can we easily do it? Go on M1, for example, right? Wait for our perfect timing. What is our price? The box appears, right? So you just wait until what? Right? You don't get too fussed about it. Until what? There you go. Relevant breaker structures. Perfect timing. Right? Very good, Christoph. Right? So you definitely can mark either this one, or if you want to get the extreme one in here. But again, you always have to be careful of not over refining in the M1, right? So this, for example, would be okay. We just look in the M5, right? There's nothing really you can do in the M5, so you can just, again, choose this overall zone. It's perfectly fine. You just check your RR. If it's like worth taking, counter trend, again, and then question, what is the target that should be reached? Question in the chat. You took this, very good. Asia low, perfect. Right, so that's your minimum target you should get target for. Again, why is it also so juicy? Come on, look at that. Look at that. 15 million bottoms, right? And again, what's the absolute maximum target you can take? If you're trading away from the major inducement, you want to obviously have order flow. Very good, Oscar, right? But that's exactly how you can do it. And this is your perfect Mona Lisa point of interest for the longs. But your signature setup is this perfect London short. Okay? So you have this in mind. Again, that's how you have to check what's going on. And again, you can aim then minimum for the smart money trap or for the liquidity. Or as you're trading away from the major inducement, you can, of course, trade even higher, right? But let's just see if you match it up, if you get on trade, right? So it's just tagged in by a speckle, right? So it's just tagged in, zero drawdown, right? Absolutely perfect. And then what is the price, right? Just messes around a little bit. Don't get faked out too much, but it's always the same stuff. Again, see the trend they're forming, right? Inducing high to go lower, right? It's always the same stuff, right? You just have to identify that internally as well. So then the moment they create liquidity, where do they create it? Look at all these tops in here. So what can we expect before they drop once again? Induce high, right? And then, of course, you expect a tube to the low side, right? And then, of course, I think it was a news day or something. Oh yeah, it's something with this. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember exactly if it was, but I'm pretty sure it was. And then again, it tagged in there. I think, Cam, you also took this, if I'm not mistaken. But again, this was a little bit tricky to take then, as it was straight into it. Only limits possible, right before New York. But then this is technically where your limit should rest and wait for you, as again, this is the perfect absolute scenario after taking all the liquidity of Asia low, completing the signature setup from London, and then of course induces high once again, just to go into the liquidity grab, into the proper mitigation. Now you're trading away from this major inducement. So again, if you've been lucky and prepared, then your limit was right in here, right? So you can close that one easily, 127, not too shabby, right? And then of course this one is the big banger with a lot of potential, again, minimum target should be at least a smart money trap, right? For banging 120.25, right? So not too bad at all, right? So absolutely was perfect, but this ended the day off, right? And then again, the next thing, what's the next thing you should wait for? Again, there's nothing to do in this scenario. Just wait, let price action do whatever it wants, right? You just have to be careful again and monitor what they show the trends, right? Perfect. What's the next thing? Asia range. What should they do if they go higher, right? So you probably figured it out. Look at what they do. They're building all liquidity. It's all just liquidity that's been created to the upside. So what can you expect soon? Right, they're doing the same thing as they did in here already, right? They're building liquidity to long sides in Asia. Now Asia is done, right? Faking, and then boom. So here's your momentum candle to the upside in Frankfurt. And then guess what? You can then, again, you don't pull POIs out of your ass randomly. No, you wait for exactly like that. Perfect liquidity creation. Messing around. Huge momentum candle right before Frankfurt, or like in this scenario even, you know already, to the absolute minute in Frankfurt, right? And then again, then you look to the left if there's anything which interests you. And you had, for example, this supply in here, right? And it's got missed by just a little bit. So it's perfectly fine. It's just not limited anyways because it's way too big, right? So you wait for what, for example? Just wait until it's get a little bit clearer. You change from the M15 to the M5. And look at this now. This is a gift from the gods. Look at this. Huge liquidity creation. What's our ideal timing? Question in the chat. I think you know it by now. Absolutely correct. London Open, what a surprise. And if that thing takes out the liquidity, taps into the overall supply area after creating liquidity for the whole day in Asia, and then even with the momentum, I mean, what can you say? You thank the gods and take it. London kicks in, just took it by a speckle, right? So this is your inducement, tapping perfectly into the mitigation as well, as you can see, right? So absolutely lovely. Then you had already your rhythm break of structures in here, right? So there you go. There goes your just M5 entry, just like this, right? And then again, you technically, it's a little bit difficult to target, as again, be careful, again, if you remember the videos about these Asia ranges, when the Asia low is like the open of the day. There's again a lot of broker feeds that can vary with Asia range. So again, it's just better to just target in these areas where again the liquidity lies at, and not like the day open price where it's just, again, the purpose is that they induce all this trend bias in here, this little equal lows, all that stuff. Again, they're already induced enough to a low side in here with the news, or like before the news of New York, right? Again, now they just want to induce all these buyers. So again, it's best to just target in these areas for, again, just a normal 1 to 5, but again, a 1 to 5 a day, literally all you will ever need. Just tag you in here, literally the one candle after, right? Or like in here as well, if you wait for more patiency, but again, technically it can tag you in right away as well. But if you want cleaner price action, again, comes back once again into these areas, and then you just target into that, right? Absolutely flawless stuff. It's absolutely perfect signature scenarios. And that's all you will ever need. And you already see though, that's where the danger comes a little bit in. They're creating this absolute obvious trend for the rest of the world, right? So again, you can be prepared for them to reverse price action very soon, right? So be careful when you see stuff like that. And then boom, induce the trend high, give the depth shot, hit the target, and then you should hit the road check, right? It's easy like that, right? Okay, so then let price action do whatever they want. You wait for what after the inducement? Again, yes, it's not perfectly hit all the liquidity areas, but again, it induced already all the buy liquidity. It doesn't necessarily have to be always Asia low, especially not if it's a day open price and the Asia low is formed in a weird way, right? So again, you wait for proper inducement low. Again, you let them do whatever they want to do, right? Boom. Okay, now even taking out those by just a speckle, and then you wait for, I think I've seen it, relevant break of structure. Why would you TP here? Again, technically, you can TP right in this liquidity area, so technically now, but again, if it's not clean, it's just better to be paying yourself and not guess. And then let's say you aim for here, right? So what's the difference? It's 1R, but you're running the risk of maybe it doesn't hit you. So why not just literally aim into these areas? You know, okay, the worst case scenario, they're gonna get into the whole demand area. It's perfectly fine. It's like one risk less, but at least you pay yourself. If you target down there, oh, you have one or more, but you're literally running the risk of like literally getting a break even. That's just not worth it. Okay, so always just be a little bit more conservative as well. Asia lows, or like just again supply demand areas, just to be safe, especially if it's only like one risk difference. Okay, that's not a big deal, right? But now as we have this, again, and the only thing is, still want to trade away from the major inducement. So again, our direction should be long anyways. And all this is on the bigger picture, it's inducing all this trend low, giving the false reaction of a little supply area, right? Again, it played out the perfect signature trade once again. What a surprise into Asia scenarios. Again, a little nugget for you as well, as Cam would say. Asia midline, very important also in terms of liquidity. And again, you already have in here, what is that? Now, relevant break of structure, as again, all this did is just grabbing liquidity, building liquidity, faking high first, faking the break of structure, inducing high, the trend, just to go lower once again, messes around, fakes the order flow, makes a new lower low into these areas, and now relevant break of structure, right? So this, again, if you don't like this buy in here, it's completely fine, right? This one, but again, the beauty about that one is you still want to trade away from the major inducement. Again, what's other areas price action could tag into? Again, the ideal scenario maybe would have been these areas in here. So again, but this is still a little bit far away. So if you want to give this one a shot, you definitely can, not too crazy. And if price action would fail in here, then you still have this lost opportunity in here. So that's completely fine as well. So this one, why is this not a triple bottom? Probably, it technically is a triple bottom, yeah. But again, it's about the intentions that they first building the whole channel low, the whole trend, then they induce the trend high to go lower, fake the break of structure to go lower, momentum kicks in once, twice into technically then these demand areas again, but inducing all this trend to the low side. And again, your scenario is buy. You still want to buy. You just need areas where you can buy from. And the only areas you could buy from is technically these areas. And again, then technically these areas, as everything here is done. Right, it's all mitigated properly. So the only area is this would be much nicer. Don't get me wrong. So this would definitely be the POI you should aim for. But again, sometimes it's just not that. That's why I'm saying this buy in here would be optional. Even though a lot of us took it, it's definitely not ideal in terms of intentions. This one would be much nicer. So if you miss this one, not a shame, for sure not, but it would be definitely nice. All right, gave even two opportunities. The first one in here after the relevant break of structure, the second one with the order flow in here, and of course then you aim higher for minimum, at least the next smart money trap. Okay, that's easy stuff. Again, the best thing is to not overcomplicate it. Again, you have everything you will ever need already in terms of understanding. The only danger you can run into is trying to overcomplicate anything here and be like, oh, I wait for this and this and this. No, see the bigger picture, see what they're doing, see the intentions, and then roll along with that. The price will never always be perfect, but intentions, they always will be perfect. Your only task is to identify those proper intentions, especially when they show you a very nice downtrend, then induce it in the wrong direction, induce high to go even lower, fake the break of structure, momentum into a demand area, inducing this overall trend to the short side, trading away from a major inducement. Okay, so this is the most, the biggest intentions, and you just have to identify the intraday way of getting into those. Okay, but again, if you don't like that, not a problem. The next day probably does something similar. What a surprise. It's always the same, is it? Like this. It's always perfect. So again, you have your Asia range, right? Again, what did we cover earlier? Something called Asia mid. Again, when they always come something to an Asia midline, and when technically Asia midline would be something on here. When they're never induced in any direction yet, again, they fake the double bottom, induce into mitigation, Asia midline, prepare for the inducement. So you're trading into the inducement low. Again, you want to induce low to go higher, right? So you have your Asia range, you have your double top. To the left, you have absolutely nothing to be concerned of. If anything, you only look for buys. You just need areas, points of interest where you trade into the buys. If you check this mess in here, it's not really that nice. There's no clean point of interest other than if you take the whole demand area in here. Again, this is just not really a clean POI. So you have to wait until the whole area is hit. Then you wait for intentions because they probably will not induce anything low. Right? Again, they're already inducing already. If Asia would be, let me get my pen. If Asia would be in these areas, then for sure you would expect something like inducement low of these areas and then go higher. But Asia already is all the way up here. So you just expect this to be induced and then filling the imbalance and trade into the order flow, right? And into the continuation, still away from the major inducement, right? So all you're looking for is buy opportunities. Right? Again, what do they want to do before they get into the buys? They want to induce premature buyers. What's the easiest way for them to do exactly that? Right? So again, if you go in M5 now, look at that. So they missed like the overall demand areas, and now they're faking what? They're faking the break of structure. So every smart money trader and their sister is jumping into this smart money trap in here. But what is your ideal timing? You should wait for London. London Open, right? Again, if London Open brings in the liquidity. So London Open should induce, bring in the liquidity, and then you're good to go. So not mitigate. London Open should not mitigate an internal liquidity point. No, it should take it, it should grab it, right? So if London Open grabs caps in here, it should induce Frankfurt smart money trap, right? So that's where again, now it's London Open, perfect. Boom, just shoot straight through the smart money trap. Every smart money trader is like, oh my God, the breakout structure didn't work, blah, blah, blah. But again, now it's exactly that. No one's buying now. They fulfilled their intentions. They stopped out the premature buyers. They faked the breakout structure the way they always do it. Again, same thing here. They fake the breakout structure first. Smart money trap. They're getting stopped. No breakout structure. Boom. That's the inducement. Real relevant breakout structure into mitigation. They fake the breakout structure. They give maybe the small little smart money trap reaction. And then they induce them. No buyers in there. London Open. They fulfilled their purpose. No one's buying. There's no clean point of interest, right? But the world is now on the sell side. There's no more buyers. Huge momentum. So guess what? What you should wait for? It's always the same, right? For technically relevant breakout structures. Again, it's all the way up here though. But that was not the cleanest to take in terms of intentions though, right? But again, in terms of intention was really nice, but in terms of price action, they just never came back. I remember because I even monitored it, but they did not come back. And I just say goodbye. But this would be a very, very nice trade. The only tricky situation here is that you don't getting induced into the small money trap because again, understand they want to stop our premature buyers before they start the real move. Okay, if you're getting more experience, there's definitely a lot of buy opportunities in here. But for now, just understand the intentions and get used to this price behavior and don't get into these smart money traps ever again. Okay, always wait until the majority of the world is induced. No one can buy, and then you're gonna buy. Focus only on EURUSD. Not really. Again, we have our lit pairs as you watched or probably in the awakening as well, but we're just covering whatever. the whole day. So again, it's just no cherry picking. Again, there's, as you've probably seen, we don't have to cherry pick days or pairs. It's the same stuff every single day. Like it's literally every single day. So for example, we can do one more day and I think it's the same thing. Again, look what it does. So now it approaches the smart money trap. How does they do it? Or how do they do it? With momentum, building the trend. So what can you always expect from a smart money trap? Right? Of course, you expect a little reaction to give them the illusion that this very obvious point of interest going to hold. They're going to short here. They're going to short here with the retest. Right? So again, it's a smart money trap. That's the reaction. That's the false reaction of it, just to smoke them later. If they hold it as long as they can, it makes it better because again, they give the illusion that this supply area just got mitigated and they think, oh, great, look at it, continue slower, all that stuff, right? But what do they prepare for actually? What are they preparing for? Now we're in the M15, we go back to the M5. What are they preparing for right now? Right, if you look at this little liquidity point in here, little point of interest below that, Asia low, already creating the little trend thing as someone drew, right? Look at that, little triple, bottom, liquidity, trend line in here, right? So again, what did we also cover earlier? Asia midline want to induce high first to go lower into the inducement maybe. What a surprise, what a shocking surprise. Again, that's the third touch of the trend line. That leads to the reaction, right? That again fakes the little break of structure in here. But again, what is it actually doing? Just going into Asia midline liquidity to go into the inducement. That's your inducement here. What's our timings? Frankfurt, London, right? We can have a London in here. And we can have Frankfurt in here, right? This is our medium liquidity point. Zeta snatched it. We have our momentum, right? We have everyone excited. We faked the break of structure already. We showed the liquidity. We're building all the short liquidity the whole day. We're coming from the smart money trap. So higher time frame traders think this is gonna reverse here. But what is it really? Perfect London signature, or like in this case, Frankfurt signature scenario, right? So if you even wanted to do it, we can even go into M1 again to show you an M1 example as well, right? So you wait for what? What is that? Coming from the demand area, your Wellenberger structure, exactly. So what would be your potential mitigation zones? In here, right? So look at that, beautiful. Even gives a much nicer relevant break of structure in here, right? Boom, just taps it, absolutely perfect. And off she goes. It's easy like that, literally. Don't overcomplicate it. It's literally that easy. Again, everyone is in the wrong direction, right? They induce low, medium inducement into mitigation. Trade coming from the smart money trap where all the world is shorting. They induce low with the perfect signature scenario. So you take the long, and again, where can you aim for? Or question in the chat, where can they aim for? Or I mean, already there, like. But that's the minimum target, obviously. It's the minimum target. You aim for Asia high. But again, if you zoom out, again, next target, of course, should be in here. Right? So again, just wait. Let them mess around with the smart money trap. Of course, they want to fake the false reaction. Again, look how they do it. They're faking the break of structure coming from this fake zone in here. Look, they do it all the time. Again, you're smarter than that already, is it? Look, they're coming from these zones and they fake the break of structure just to induce them. It's all liquidity. It's smart money liquidity, right? Just to go higher. Isn't that weird how they do it? Stopping out all these higher time frame supply traders, like, oh my God, why does this not hold? They have only 2 opportunities, right? It's always the same. It's always the same. And then boom, there you go. target hit, and then of course that's how you continue over and over and over again, right? And if you just end it, because you're getting a little bit late, it's the same thing though. So we covered this one. Guess what the next day happened? Perfect signature scenario. It's always the same. Asia range, sideless liquidity, inducing high, faking what? The break of structure to induce low, taking some medium liquidity zones, exactly, even before that, very good eyes, creating some trends in here, right? Again, creating the what? The triple, quadruple tops, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times tapping in here, like breaking out finally out of the quadruple bottom, like 1, 2, 3, 4 in here, Asia low, getting induced, right? Then again, retest in here, induces low one more time. It's the perfect signature scenario into the buys, into the next liquidity zone, right? And then again, as we marked it, let's zoom out a little bit. What a surprise. Takes the triple top liquidity with a huge, unexpected Federal Reserve announcement or whatever that was, right? Like, so surprising. What do they leave though? They stay right before our point of interest. We literally only had marked, like whatever, week before, right from a perfect inducement point of interest. And look what that is. And that shit was absolutely gorgeous. Look what they did. Same thing. Asia range, what do? Creating all the liquidity to the high side, faking the double top, faking the break of structure, mini baby one though, right? Inducing high once again, inducing the double tops with speed. And then guess what? Obviously in here, give the reaction into mitigation. And then obviously, if you want to wait for the relevant break of structures in here and stuff like that, and again, here was your continuation trade. In here was very close though, right? And then of course, you aim for the next liquidity area, which is the triple bottoms, and that could snagged literally this Friday. But it's that easy. It's literally that easy. You just have to identify that. Again, how many signature setups do we have just in EU? Literally this week. Like 1 perfect one, 2 perfect one, 3 perfect one, 4 perfect ones. This one is a little bit challenging, but the rest is absolutely perfect. Before that, absolute perfect one, absolute perfect one. Like, what? We didn't even mark the rest of the trades in. But do you see the abundance of just literally signature scenarios? Like, what? Yeah, but this is just, again, the price action playoff happened this week, technically. Absolutely gorgeous. Like, flawless freaking shit. Just looking at signature scenarios. Absolutely insane. Okay, what's the question there, Oscar? Okay,
Ryan,
I think
if you don't mind, sorry,
of course.
sorry for interrupt. On here, for example, I was looking for the cells on here before because this, okay, I saw the inducement on here. I was waiting for this area to buy.
Yes.
And it creates like equal lows on here. And I didn't, like, I said, this is the confirmation for this signature here. I saw, and then it took me out. And I didn't look for this one, for this area, because I said, it's not so obvious.
Okay, so yeah, look to the left always, right? And then again, that's the most important thing if you look at signature scenarios. Again, if you're trading straight into an equal highs and stuff like that, right before like big news events and stuff, Federal Reserve, whatever numbers they released, right? Again, you should be very, very careful overall. And again, if anything, this one would be a trade, but then you should minimum get a break even, right? Again, this is not, and if you get the buy, again, also see the liquidity different. Try to see it, not like equal lows in here. Always go from left to right, right? So from left to right. The liquidity is getting grabbed here with the signature scenario. What's the next point of liquidity? Trend traders. They're already getting induced to low side, right? So this is, again, just the fake break of structure to go long into the liquidity on a bigger picture.
Yeah, probably, Raymond, sorry for interrupting again. As I told you, like I was waiting on here, this area, because I see this as a relevant, so I take this one. But
okay, you wanted to trade this one into here and then into the, okay, this is obviously the Mona Lisa perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Right, so you can't, but then you have to be aware you're trading the smart money trap and potentially, okay, you want the inducement to get induced once again, because this is technically what it is. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches into the inducement, into smart money trap, faking the smart money trap reaction you've been in, and then just continues higher.
Exactly. I wasn't break-even on here, but it took me out, and I said, oh, I didn't see the.
Okay, but did you zoom out then at least and understand, like, okay, what they did here? Just grabbing the triple tops.
Yeah, I was looking to take the buy from there. I was like, I am so happy with what I learned, so I was selling to buy, but I failed.
Okay, but at least you understand the intentions, though, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. As long as you understand that, it's all good. But then again, yeah, this one, I'm not sure if you caught this one. This absolute Mona one. Did you had monitor that one? Oscar?
Sorry, I was mute. I almost got it, but if you can make this on 5.
Sure.
And sorry, I was waiting a little bit more, like on here. And I didn't take it.
Oh, okay.
I saw this like the perfect confirmation. I see this liquidity. I saw that part. This was not so relevant for me, so I didn't take it. And I was waiting for this area just to check. But it didn't happen.
I mean, it's good though. You're getting very close. Again, trend line, go from left to right, and then left to right, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4. How clean can it be? Into inducement, into the order flow, away from the obviously mitigation of the higher time frames to the left, right? Away from the signature scenario, into the perfect POI, and then obviously continuation. And that next entry obviously would be in here, but they missed that one. Right, but always see where they're building it. When they already created the quadruple top, that's the inducement. You should not wait for another inducement. Okay, always try to identify liquidity internally. When the inducement, then look to the left, and then look for viewpoint of interest, and then look to the left if you're playing in line with the overall picture they're going to show. And again, overall, is you had the shorts anyways perfectly marked, absolutely amazing. Then try now the next step you have to do is just analyze internal liquidity so you get the POIs right. Okay, so again, get the equal highs, see where they're already building a trend, see where they're already faking the break of structures, right? And then obviously the moment they induce it with speed as well, into mitigation away from the bigger picture and then into the next target. Okay, similar as you did here. So you played the internal movement here, but you played the smart money trap. Again, we do it all the time. It's just getting a little bit tricky. If you don't understand it's a smart money trap, that's when you're getting smoked, right? But if you know it's a smart money trap, you play it much differently.
Yeah. Other part, Rain, if you don't mind, sorry, I talk too much.
It's a Q&A. That's why we're here, so it's all good.
When I traded a lot Asia, I trade a lot. I trade Asia a lot, so probably I didn't take this because it was maybe so early in the moment that I was in front of my computer. But again, like when I saw this in the morning, when I wake up, the inducement on here from Asia, I was super clear, like all of those are like the trend lines. So that's why when I probably if I check MM15 on here, I will check it. But I was so focused on 5 that I didn't.
Not good. I see you have already good intentions, good intentional identification. That's very, very good. Give it a little bit more time. I'm pretty sure you're gonna smash it pretty hard. Love it. Yeah, but Asia is not ideal to trade. There's definitely a lot of opportunities. You have a few people trading only Asia. But again, the session to go for is London, of course. But yeah, if you play Asia, you just have to identify the internal liquidity. It's the same thing. It's just a little bit little bit more tricky.
Yeah, I can show you some US30 trades that I did in
Oh, okay, yeah, I love
Asia.
US30. I mean, US30 is my absolute perfect favorite. So yeah, like Chichi, stick to US30. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go into some questions from everyone. Let's see. Not sure, Cam Suck, if you answered a few questions already in the chat.
Hey, Reem, I've got a quick question. Sorry, it might be a
Sure.
bit dumb.
There's no dumb question.
You know, I'm based in London, so do I need to change the UTC-1 timing, or does the Asia range will automatically adjust it with this indicator provided?
Yes, so the indicator you have that always auto adjusts, so you don't have to worry about that, right? So just use the boxes we have, but then London for you, as you are in London, is always 8, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right, so you don't have to make any weird calculations.
No, that's fine.
So your London Open is always 8, regardless of what the world does.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So I don't need to adjust any to German timing for my to confirm.
No,
my
you don't
Asian.
have to actually. No, it's
Good.
completely fine.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So New York examples, again, you should look for, again, if you can, try to still orientate from the signature scenarios and then look for these continuation trades. For example, if you have major inducements down there, right, you're coming from a London signature scenario. And then again, you should understand what London tried to do, what the whole session, again, it's always the opposite. Look what Asia does, where they building liquidity in what direction, then wait for the inducement, always wait for the fake break of structures first to get the early sellers or buyers in, right? Then wait for the last death blow and then trade in the other direction. Same thing for New York. It's just a little bit more, I would say, less step-by-step structured. That's why we show you the London signature trade, because this is just super freaking clean in terms of 1, 2, 3. I mean, you have the checklist, obviously, of how you should do it. New York is just, again, you have to identify the liquidity is built internally, then when it's getting obviously taken, and then you trade away from that as well, in line, or like obviously away from, or like in line, depending on where you medium or major inducement is for, and also your minor one for the day, and then try to trade either like counter trend if they already achieve the overall goal for the intraday target, or continuation setups. They're very powerful if you have not achieved the main objective of the day of the liquidity grab yet. Okay, so it's a little bit more tricky, but definitely a lot of love. I mean, lately I'm only trading New York, and I mean, for me, I love Frankfurt and London, but New York is always fucking clean as well. So it's just a little bit more tricky. So if you can start with London, that's how you obviously show you the London signature trade, because it's much easier, much clean to take than New York setups.
Sorry, Ryan, can I ask a question?
Of course.
Which is not connected to the awakening or weekend, about vector candles, or it's for the adventures only?
Yeah, so of course we have like our flagship program with the adventure. I think, when do we cover vector candles, Cam? Is it like in chapter 3? Something like that. So yeah, it goes a little bit more into details. Yeah, when you don't need it, you have the intentions already. Well, yeah, it's just a little bit more details about like how they, of course, deliver price action, but it's not needed for your understanding. You have everything you need to know.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Reem, can you hear me?
Of course. Beautiful voice, even. There you go.
Thank you. Can you switch to AJ, Euro GPY?
Of course. Euro JPY?
Yes.
Don't even have it on there. Okay, let's go. Okay. Yeah.
All right. On today's day, I thought I would catch a signature trade. Yes, on London Open, where a relevant break of structure happened, but maybe on London Open on M1.
Okay. So again, if you already see in here, that's not the best. That's why we say wait for technically the M5. So this exactly stuff like this doesn't happen, right? So again, you already see in here. Be very careful of like jumping into those prematurely. Okay, so this is like, again, grab the liquidity, wait for the next proper inducement mitigation, which is all the way down in here. Again, this is not really inducement mitigation, is it? This is just a smart money trap.
Yeah.
So you unfortunately tapped exactly in the smart money trap.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Right. So again, it's always the same. Wait first until they tap into the smart money trap, then they give the fake reaction, get into the proper POI, which is all the way down in here, and then it was absolutely perfect.
All right, now I see.
So go for the inducement POIs, not like the random ones, especially if you have like coming crazy movements, like again, nothing really going in here, just inducing high to go low, momentum going in into smart money trap, into the actual point of interest, and then it even came unfortunately twice in here. Otherwise it would be the absolute perfect, so I did not take that one, but this one would be the absolute perfect one if there wouldn't be this weird triple bottom in here. But again, be careful about the smart money traps. That's what they're building. It's getting at the beginning, that's unfortunately going to happen to you. You're going to tap into smart money traps a little bit until you get used to it.
All right, got it. Thanks. I have two general questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The first question is, you said in the Awakening video that we have to watch out to B-book brokers. And my question is, what broker would you recommend to us?
So, I mean, I can't give like straight broker recommendations, but if you just don't listen to me right now, it's not a recommendation, but IC Markets, for example, is one of the best. Like they're very reliable. If you're in the US, depending, we have a lot of people from the US, they trade fusion markets. But yeah, I mean, obviously you have to do your own due diligence to see what broker fits you best. Just stay very far away from B-book brokers. All these like very high leverage, like give you withdraw deposit bonuses and shit, like stay far away from that shit. So yeah, if you can, go with IC. If you can't, then technically also prop firms is a good way to go for it, funnily enough. But then open still your own brokers with again your own due diligence. But yeah, IC is for sure like the way to go.
All right, got it. Thanks.
The second question?
The second question was do we ever think this strategy could become a retail model in the future too?
I love this question. So I would say like a big no, because like even when you look at smart money is like a big hype, like ICT this and this. Again, credits to this guy, amazing guy, have to love him, what he does to the industry. But even if you look like 10 years back of charts, it's the same price movement. There's still smart money traps. It's still the same exact thing. But what never ever can change, they have to bring in liquidity. So if they can't bring in liquidity, there's no price movement. So they have to give people the reasons. And again, you have the main reasons people have. It's trend lines, breakouts, break and retest, support, resistance, and obviously smart money concepts. And if you just identify those main liquidity providers, then again, how can our strategy become retail? Again, maybe this one in here, again, maybe 0.1% of traders know about. Smart money is obviously, even smart money, it's not that common. Even though you see it on like Instagram left and right, but it's not that common. It's probably still only like 1% of traders of the whole world and institutional that trade smart money. There's banks, big institutions, they trade freaking breakouts. It's not a joke. It's literally what it is. So before our strategy becomes retail, the whole price action would look completely different. Probably they would fake much more like quote unquote relevant breakout structures. But guess who will be the first person who's going to find out about that? It will take us literally 1 week until we discover, oh shit, something is different. And then of course we're gonna tell you. So, but this is like years ago. Again, and the other thing is what people don't understand as well. Again, our community, like in the flagship program with the adventure and all that stuff, we have some pretty big fishes in our community. Again, we have hedge fund managers not trading like small money. Ourselves, we're not trading small money. So and even that makes absolutely zero impact to the market. Zero. So again, there could be like 1 million people more of us trading it, and it will still not have a big impact. So yeah, you should not be worried at all. It's all good. And if something changes, then we're gonna tell you obviously the moment it happens.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, I have a quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Of course.
So I'm trying to understand just how to balance out like higher time frame perspective versus like inducement. So if you go to GU, if you could switch over real quick. Like if you look at just like the daily, for example, we have like pretty clear like equal highs like on the daily perspective, but it's like, how do you balance that out versus like, oh, like we just hit a supply area versus those equal highs will get induced? Like, how would you recommend to?
Yeah, so like just to give you the straightforward answer, like we suck at swing trading. So I'm the worst person to ask about swing trading in higher time frames. That's for your intraday traders. So none of us actually, I'm not even say we have anyone in the community who does like higher time frames just for the pure purpose of like, yeah, we tried swing trade. It's not like we didn't try, but it's just not beneficial for us. As again, we had too many break even with like big positions. That we just close everything intraday. So like I'm the worst person to literally give you higher time frame advice. So I have to kind of disappoint you in there. But overall, yeah, it's pretty similar in terms of like the lower times. Again, it's technically the same thing. You just have to wait much longer. And yeah, the opportunity. I'm not sure why you only want to string trade, or is it just like a directional thing? You just want to understand the overall direction a little bit more.
No, yeah, I'm not a swing trader. It's more just like for direction to like understand going into the day, like which direction are we more likely to.
Yeah, so I would recommend you then just only go from the 1 hour and then do the analysis the way you do it, like kind of on the lower times, look where the liquidity is, where they actually induce in what direction, and then again base your intraday just on the bias of the high time, but still trade the intraday cycles. That's much more powerful because again, you can have the craziest higher time frame long trade and then still a perfect 5M short signature scenario. So again, for us personally, that's probably not what you want to hear. Higher time frames is more distraction than it is help. Because if you just look at the M5 plays, that's literally all you will need to find like multiple really good quality trading setups on literally a daily basis. So for us and our students, literally, again, we're doing this stuff for like years. It's not that helpful to combine it with higher time frames that much. That's why we don't do it. And that's why I try to even show you the way you should do it on a M5, H1 and M1 perspective, and sometimes M15. So yeah, if I can give you a recommendation, then try to learn intraday more. It will actually help you way much than a higher time frame bias.
Yeah, no, that's complete sense.
Oh, I think your connection's cutting a little
bit. Hello, Reem.
Yeah. Is it my connection or is it like almost?
No, I can't hear.
It's his.
Okay, so perfect. So I can hear you, Mohammed.
Hello, Reem.
Hey.
Just got a quick question. You mentioned that US30 is probably one of your favorite pairs to trade.
Sorry, which one?
US30.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Is it possible for you to just go over the strategy maybe on 1 or 2 days for US30? Because US30 moves quite a bit in a day, and it's always been I've always wanted to try and trade it, but it proves very difficult, especially with the 5-minute time frame because of the huge movement. Could you maybe just demonstrate maybe 1 or 2 days?
No, I mean, it's literally basically exactly the same. You just have to watch out for like these crazy New York movements that happen. Because obviously US30 is like highly based on like New York. That's why the signature scenarios are like you have to close them intraday because usually they're just getting smoked left and right. For example, again, we had this perfect intraday, like absolute gorgeous one, like even on 2 sides on first, and was it Wednesday? Was it on bottom? Yes, it's Wednesday actually. This one was beautiful. Again, we have this very early intention to hide. It's the same thing. Always watch what Asia does. Same thing for whatever pair or what currency or whatever you look for. It's always the same. Wait for your Asia range. Again, what do they do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Have this wick pre-Frankfurt even, right? Before they even do that, what do they show? Of course, the fake break of structure, just to induce Asia range, Again, not the best point of interest by any means, right? So this is probably very hard to take. I'm not sure anyone took that. I did not, right? And then of course, you aim for minimum Asia range, wait for your next little target. You have to identify your proper inducement zones. And these scenarios, you don't have any, right? Again, you only have this crazy trend forming, getting induced over and over and over again, right? So the only thing you do is, of course, you aim for the next supply area, demand in this case, right, which you had in here, right? Again, there's no inducement point of interest, even that is not, right? So you go with the actual intentions. As you can see, they just choop everything to the downside. Same thing, what's your ideal time window? London open, right, as always. They tapped in before that supply demand area before that. Then you wait for, you can do it like this, right? On the M1, you wait for what? It's always the same for your relevant break of structure. You go for your extreme, and here's your perfect entry. It's the same exact stuff on, it doesn't matter what chart you trade. Even if you pull up a corn chart or whatever, it's the same freaking thing. A rice chart would be the same. Again, you have your internal liquidity with the little quadruple bottom in here after the break of structure, after the whole world is getting induced to the short side, after momentum, after you tapped into the demand area, after you took out Asia range, after you had your little medium one, if you want to consider it, right? And then internal liquidity into the extreme mitigation. That's your trade. And obviously you have your targets, which is, of course, as always, the next liquidity zone, and then you should be out, as again, I think at this day was like news before. But again, you saw it's the same exact, again, it doesn't matter what pair it is. If you don't have to cherry pick any shit, again, we just recommend you to stick to those. And again, you can add EJ. I'm not sure why I don't have it on this watch list. But yeah, and also EG, by the way, Cameron's most favorite pair. It's absolutely amazing. This thing is absolutely a Mona Lisa printing machine, actually. Okay, I think I'm going a little bit more into text questions because I don't want any people to miss out or something. Okay, let's just see. Okay, I probably missed a freak load of creation, so please don't shout at me.
Thanks for the explanation, Reem.
You're more than welcome. So major inducements, again, technically look at higher time frames. Again, technically, as you already seen, it also can be M5. It just has to be very pure intention based for example, like that. Again, I would not really consider it major, but just think about it. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. Then the news even takes it out. Then a pullback, then another news, whatever Fed release comes in here, takes it out again. So this can technically be classified minimum, medium, or major. It's also attention based. It's not that, oh, they take out equal highs on the 4 hour. It has to be major. No, it also can be medium. It doesn't really matter too much, right? Again, it's more intention based of what they show, how much effort they actually put in to show these zones, and then you trade away from that. And if it comes back in these areas, it's your perfect point of interest, and you trade for the downside, right? But again, always identify the intentions, what they do, faking the break of structure, trading all the small point traps here and here, just to take everyone out again, pull back, take them out once again. There's 0 sellers in there, 0. They can't sell. No one's selling here. That's why they perfectly could just drop out of the heaven. And then when they come back into these areas, which they did the next day, that's your perfect area of interest, point of interest, you trade away from. It's the same thing. And then, of course, you have your double bottoms, which you aim for to take out and then expect the pullback. Same thing. Next day, absolutely same stuff. You have your liquidity in here. You have your Asia range, right? The only thing we don't have in here is a fake break of structure to go higher and then taking the liquidity. So you just decide to just rumble it up, take the liquidity in here, and then obviously in London, just stupid, make the new lows, and then just end the week off in here. Yeah, and this is, for example, for the ones who are trading Asia, for example, the absolute perfect ones. Was it Oscar? I think it was. And you have, again, this little sideways creations. Again, this little liquidity points in here, right? Then then with speed, they come and take it out. They probably give you some relevant break of structure in M1. Then they're going to retest it. And then obviously they gonna get for the next liquidity target. So it's the same thing. The moment you identify those proper liquidity plays and how they do it, you're literally free. That's it. It's literally the cheat codes, as you've probably seen in the Awakening. Can we go over AU this week? I'm not sure if we can. Already 1 hour in, but it's the same thing as I showed. Like, again, it's the same exact thing. It doesn't matter what pair. Again, I think in even in the Awakening, we show you a variety of pairs and all that stuff. Yeah, this is very clean as well, Oscar, is it? Especially, again, there's not much you can do wrong here. Not literally. Again, you have few medium inducement. You have the liquidity being created. Again, they're faking one push more, one push more, one push more until what? First time, they literally give you a relevant break of structure. After, they grab the liquidity and just faking. And then, of course, they tap back into the extreme demand. It's the same thing all over again, as always. And again, they create a little, again, not the nicest thing, but a little trend in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. Induce it low to go higher. Always the same. It's literally always the same.
Hello.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Hello, hi Reem, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Perfectly fine. Yeah, I wanted to know, I have submitted purple ticket, okay, but I haven't got any response from your team yet. So what should I do?
That's on purpose though, because again, the purple ticket is just your invitation because you have the foundations to again get into the whole overall. I mean, just let me say it like this: you should have enough. Period. Right? Again, the adventures for the crazy ones who just again are maniacs and want to dig as deep as they can. Again, yes, there are people like that, but you should have already, as you've seen, everything you need to know. But again, with this foundations, of course, you have this foundations to go deeper, right? So you have invitation. We made the adventure completely private only, invitation only. So again, no one can literally get in there anymore for quite a while. So again, but you having the foundations, as you already are part of Lit, again, we want to work with you guys on a deeper level as well, if you want as well. If you have enough, perfectly fine. Or if you have everything you need, it should be like that. But again, for those maniacs who want to go deeper, yeah, of course, we will not leave you hanging here, right? So, but also keep in mind, practice, backtest, and get results first before you consider getting into the adventure, right? Again, you should have a lot of good knowledge already, right? So again, you should not need us anymore, if that makes sense.
So can I practice on a funded account?
I mean, depending on how good you're already, if you're very comfortable and very confident what you do, and if you're getting the trades needed already, then of course, but if not, then practice more until you get it. Get very comfortable first, very familiar. Otherwise, I would not recommend you to do that with your funded account.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Reem. Thank you. Have a great day.
Welcome. You as well.
Thank you.
Can I have a question?
Of course.
If I want to make a simple step-by-step process for myself, how many and which confluences you suggest me to stay as simple and consistent as possible?
Can you trade London?
Yes.
Okay, so then first try to go for the pre-written checklist we gave you, right? And then if you want to extend it, just add more liquidity types into it. Identify where the liquidity is induced. First of all, where they build it, right? For example, where's my pen? So let's just say, for example, you add in here, okay, they show the equal low. So you add, for example, a checklist, do they show liquidity and fake it in one direction? Then you check, yes, perfect. And again, what is this? A little breaker as they have like 1, 2, 3, whatever, if you count that in. If not, it's also fine, but you technically can count it in. Breakout getting induced first. What is it? Minor though. So you check in minor breakout. Perfect. What is this? Medium breakout. So you check this. So you show the liquidity. You have a minor breakout. You have a medium breakout, right? You have a trend forming. So you check it. Is it a medium trend? No, it's a minor trend. Where's the medium trend? It's more like this. It's not sure if that is too nice though, but you can also check it. Then you check the momentum going on. So you check it. Then you check the medium breakout. We already have that. You check the timing. If it's Frankfurt London, yes. You check the breakout structure, or the relevant breakout structure. Boom. You check the mitigation, M5. You check the M1. Right? You check the higher times. You trade away from a proper zone. Check. So there's a lot of things you can add in. It's depending on how much you want to make it easy for yourself. But at the beginning, I actually recommend you to stack it up as much as you can, because I can promise you, if you look at myself, Cam or Sokpa, for example, our markups, they look pretty empty, funnily enough, because the moment, again, you already heard it in the Awakening, the moment you can see it, you just can't unsee it anymore, right? So, but at the beginning, it's very important that you train your eyes like a maniac and checking everything you can, identify all the liquidity, all the intentions, all the targets, what they want to do. Same thing for targets. You can check that in. What's your passive target, for example? Oh, I aim for mitigations. Or you want to trade aggressive. Oh, now I want to take out a structure, for example. Boom, that's obviously more aggressive, because how many times, for example, they get into these areas and then they pull back and give you a break even, an unnecessary one. So you have to choose your targets, your entry approaches. Do you like executions? Do you like limits? Obviously, you should not trade stop orders. You should stay away from them. Do you want to like to trade off the inducement, or you try to let into an inducement? Again, you can also trade into inducements. My personal favorites is to trade into inducements. What does I mean by that? Let me just remove all this mess in here, but I hope this is clear. I just talk a lot. If you ask me questions like that, don't do it, because I will waffle the whole day.
Right? I like it. Okay. That's when I learn the most.
Okay. Right. So if, for example, if you have Asia range in here, right? Oh, okay. Let me redraw it again. Let's say you have Asia range and they're creating like this quadruple tops in here, right? And then they do something. Let's make it like this. Right, and then they make something like this. So this is Asia in here, right? And now you're getting into Frankfurt, and then they're inducing low. But obviously, you see 1, 2, 3 tops of Asia high. I just love to take this trade into the inducement. But obviously, your London signature trade is up in here. But you, of course, can trade a buy into here into the inducement. This is more like advanced though. For example, my personal favorite trade for US 30 would be this buy in here. This buy, again, you're trading straight into the equal highs, or like these highs in here, right? Into the mitigation. Again, they want to fake the reaction. You trade into the little target, and then you take the short right after. But this is like the way you want to trade if you want to wait for the inducement, or if you want to trade into the inducement. I personally just love the into the inducement ones, because again, you open a trade and they just chup it. Again, imagine the other way around, because how many times do you try to catch a reversal? And now think the other way around. How nice is it if you if the try to catch the reversal is actually your TP is just getting higher and higher and higher, right? So again, this is a very good feeling in terms of like, okay, you don't have to guess the reversal, quote unquote. No, you just actually are in the move of the inducement. It's usually a beautiful, just chuping scenario, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just love these trades. So again, more experience you get, the deeper you can dig into that.
Yeah, thank you. Can I have another question, please?
Of course.
As I'm a really beginner, you suggest like having a daily target, or yeah, like a daily maximum R or daily maximum trades to take?
Not sure if I understand your question correctly. You're talking about the targets price action wise, or like what target?
I mean like
the trading plan, I mean.
Like taking like a maximum 2 or maximum 3 trades a day, as I'm a beginner.
Okay, so what you should do, and not only you, but everyone in here, so you build a buffer for the day. So you don't start the first trade of the day with a 1% risk or something like that. No, you start the first trade for the day with a 0.25 trade. Or again, if you're getting very familiar with the signature trades and that's the only thing you're going to trade, you can trade with 0.5% or like up to 1% max, right? But again, the best way to do intraday trading, the first trade for the day is your buffer trade and you close it at 125, 126, something like nothing too crazy. And this gives you the buffer for the rest of the whole day, right? So if you start with a less risk on the first trade, it's way less stressful. Again, you don't FOMO so much as well. It's just, again, you take a very low risk trade with a very confirmed setup, and then the rest of the day is literally perfect. As again, you should be up for the day, and if you mess it up for whatever reason, it's also fine because you risked very less, and then you can risk whatever. If you risk whatever 0.25%, you can do that 4 times. Again, you should never fuck up 4 times in a row, to be fair, but just in case, then you still only, quote unquote, only end the day with minus 1%, which should never happen to trade 4 trades in a row in a loss again. But again, this is the way you should get used to it. Build these buffers for the day. That's why, again, I told you I love this Frankie trades, because again, I start the day with trading into the inducement, and then this gives me the buffer for these crazy extreme reversal trades you've probably seen left and right on instant, blah, blah, blah. But again, you should only trade anyways these quality signature trades and then start with less risk, then build the buffer for the day, and then move into that. So for targets, again, start out properly. If you're consistently catching 125, there's no way in hell you will not be maxed out on every prop firm possible. How? If you're consistently trying to catch 125, the problem is people try to catch consistently 1-100s with a 0% loss rate. That's why people don't get it right. Okay, so learn the process, learn with less risk, with quality setups. Don't go into the 1 minute. That's why, again, we don't show you too much 1 minute shit on purpose. You should not dig into the 1 minute over and over again and get these unnecessary stupid losses. No, M5 is all you're gonna need. This is good for 125 quality freaking trades. And how many trades of those can you get wrong in a day? Not that much if you trade quality, right? So it's the very best way to trade because you have daily opportunities, but it's very hard to fuck it up actually. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Okay, guys. So we're 1.5 hours in.
Can I ask a last question?
Of course, of course.
So, should we wait for 5-minute relevant break of structure, or the M1 is enough?
Yes. So a very good question. So I would highly recommend you to start with the M5 first, because again, if you're not used to the fake break of structures on purpose, again, the fake break of structure is actually sometimes 10 times nicer than to have like one relevant break of structure and that's it. Because again, the structure is the most efficient way everyone gets stopped, right? Because again, it doesn't matter what strategy they trade or let the world, they look for these structure breaks for direction, for confirmation, whatever. So if you're not used to the concept of like fake break of structure first into the proper inducement, then relevant break of structure, stay at the M5 because it very rarely happens there. It happens a lot on the M1 where they fake first a quote unquote break of structure, then make one push higher to stop the lower time from people first, and then they go. And additional to that, let's say you have whatever this price action on the M1, right? And let's say this is your relevant break of structure, perfect. And then you enter it here, perfect. That's good. But then what does M5 usually do anyways? They come back here anyways and then mitigate something in here. So it's just a delay. Always the M1 entries are like better, closer, like tighter for the risk reward as well. But usually the M5 comes back anyways and gives you the proper entry. So I would highly recommend you to wait for the M5 first until you're getting very familiar with it, and then you can dig into M1s. Not first. If you dig first into M1, not good. Not good, because you will get a little bit confused and then it's not a good journey. So start with the M5, get very familiar, very confident, make your backtests, make your practices, and then when you're ready, when you truthfully caught a few very good ones on M5, then you dig into the M1.
Got it. Thanks for the answer.
Perfect. Lovely. You upcoming legends. That's our Q&A session, I would say. a lot of questions, a lot of things we dig into it. Again, technically you have everything inside the vault. Also, we will record this recording will be in the vault, so no worries. If you want to rewatch it, everything will be in there. Yeah, but I think we covered a lot, a whole week of EU's price action. But again, use it also for literally your mind. You have everything you need to know. No need to go crazy on the M1 or 30 seconds or whatever. Take these freaking quality trades. Be patient. Again, you paid to wait, not to freaking trade. So don't look for these opportunities. Wait for them. They will come, as you see. Look at multiple pairs. And they literally, you will have one picture perfect scenario where you can take your 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever it is, get a normal target in, don't go crazy, don't aim for the fences, pay yourself, be consistent with it, and build a proper foundation. Okay, that's all you will ever literally need. It's crazy, okay, literally. So yeah, with that being said, greetings from the Wizard, Cameron, and the Queen Suckber. Even though they did not say too much because I'm just waffling, so sorry for my waffling. So Cam, Suckber, if you just want to say a few last words, so I think it's good.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Hello, can we hear me?
Of course, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like Reem said, you guys now have everything that you will ever need. If you want to go crazy and dig into further stuff, the biggest thing that I can recommend is don't jump into more before you understand what you already have. That's like the worst thing you can do. What you have should build your foundation, like your house, right? You make a really solid foundation and then you can build crazy shit on top of it. It doesn't work the other way. You don't build houses on sand. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Exactly. So focus truthfully on that foundation and you will be literally set. I mean, this is shit that will set you literally for a lifetime. Again, like it took us a fuck lot of time to like, yeah, even get this and then build like proper processes. And now it's just again a perfect step-by-step process where you can follow the checklist as well. And obviously the signature scenarios. But yeah, it took us pretty long. So you took a good shortcut, but don't make it a shortcut. Make it a proper, efficient way to build your foundation. Okay, again, everything you need to know, so take advantage of that madness and again make a proper, as Cam said, foundation. You will be set forever. The last thing though, again, if you want to support us, because of course we would love to see your feedback as well about the overall process, how we did the awakening. We've spent so much freaking time on the vault. Again, the questions, the exams, all the templates and all that stuff you guys getting. Again, a lot of work was dedicated to that. So of course, if you want to give us a little help, whatever, little gratitude stuff, of course, we have like a trust button and stuff like that as well. We would obviously appreciate that. It always fills our hearts with pleasure when we see you guys are happy, because that's why we're doing it at the end of the day. Again, to help you guys not to have this freaking pain we had to go through, and yeah, make life and trading a little bit easier for you guys. So if you just want to give us a quick thank you there, we would highly appreciate it. If not, it's also fine, completely good as well, right? We still love you guys. And yeah, I would say enjoy the weekend. Beautiful week. Again, the recording will be up probably at like this weekend most likely, so you can retest or backtest the examples we went over. EU, I think we had only this one US 30, but the whole week of EU. If you want to backtest them and get a little bit more practice done, so should be up during the weekend. And yeah, with that waffling, I would say enjoy the rest of the week, and I would say, and yeah, catch you legends very, very soon. Very happy to have you guys and have a good one. Cheers, cheers, kisses, kisses from the whole team. So have a good one. Cheers!